etc. But here's what we do know, and I'm happy to share with you. There 23,326 people officially started the race this morning. It's 17,584 crossed the finish line. 4,496 made it to the 40-kilometer mark, but are unaccounted for because they were held up from coming into Boylston Street, into the Copley Square area, and to properly cross the finish line. Another 1,246 never even made it to the 40-kilometer mark. So the good news is that 17,584 got across the finish line safely, and that the BAA, the Boston Athletic Association, the Boston Police did a fantastic job. I have worked with the Elite Athlete Program for the sponsor. I've worked with them for 25 years in the past. They have tremendous plans in place for something like this, and the way that the race was suspended so quickly and how they so quickly kept people from coming down into Boylston Street where they could be at risk or danger was absolutely fantastic. And I think the Boston Athletic Association and the Boston Police and the state police deserve tremendous credit for how they handled this when it occurred.
They certainly do, and probably saved a lot more death and injury as a result of their rapid actions. I mean, to me, the guy that sums up the kind of stoicism, indeed heroism of the whole event, was a man I interviewed earlier, Bill Lickford, 78 years old. He's run 45 marathons. He was blown off his feet in images that have gone around the world, and he just got back up and finished the race. What did you make of that, Fred?
You know, I think he speaks a lot to the spirit of the marathon and the connection that so many people feel to this particular run and this particular distance. And, you know, I feel terribly for the people, obviously, as we all do, who have been injured and killed in this terrible senseless attack. But I also feel for the thousands of people who trained for months, who raised money for charities, who, you know, maybe this was the first marathon they had ever run and they're running it as a charity member, and then all of a sudden, you know, they can't get to the finish line, or that their experience in crossing the finish line is marred by this terrible tragedy. You know, think about it. You know, for Richa Jeptu from Kenya, and for, you know, Lalisa, you know, Denisa from Ethiopia, tomorrow would have been the day that they would have been heralded in the front pages of our local newspapers. Tomorrow the front pages will be about this awful tragedy, as it should be. And those two athletes in the 117th running of the Boston Marathon have been robbed as well of their moment in history by this terrible thing.
Finally, Fred, will there be a Boston Marathon next year?
The Boston Marathon has endured 2 world wars and many other things. I remember working with the Elite Athlete Program after September 11th and the different things that were put in place to deal with that. I am quite sure that there will be a Boston Marathon next year, but for certain, the Boston Marathon has been changed forever.
It certainly has. Fred Tressler, thank you so much for joining me.
You are welcome, and please, to all of your viewers, you know, please share your thoughts and prayers with those in Boston tonight.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Fred Tressler, before we go to a quick break, a very quick question for you. If it had been a foreign organisation, terrorist group that had done this, would you expect them to claim responsibility by now?
You know, not clear. You know, the whole communication apparatus, it would depend on what small piece of which group. Is it Al-Qaeda in Yemen, the Arabian Peninsula? Is it al-Nusra, the Iraq, Syrian Al-Qaeda group? The question really becomes, which group is it? And you don't know that. And all of this will become clearer as they develop the various pieces to the investigation.
Yeah, very important to stress once again that we just don't know. Don't know who did this. Don't know whether an individual, whether it was an American, a foreigner. We just have no clue at the moment, and we just have to wait for the authorities to get those facts. When we come back, more witnesses to raise